iOS devices to watch global television real time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television. Hello and welcome to Business Point here on Global Television. I am Queen Agaba, and of course Business Point is your hub for topical discussions in the world of business, where we look at tech, we look at innovation, we look at the markets, and we look at Nigeria's economy as a whole. Well, today we take a look at the Nigerian stock market, which concluded the week ended June 2025 on a positive note, as the all-share index ASI gained 812.79 points to close at 115.429.54, up from 114.616.75 in Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Business Point here on Global Television. We look at techpreneurship not just as a buzzword, but as a tool for economic transformation, for youth empowerment and innovation. But what exactly does it take to build tech businesses in challenging environments? What support structures exist, and what must governments do to unlock the full potential of our digital economy? Joining me on the program today to help unpack these issues is someone who sits at the intersection of innovation and analysis, Victor Atta, who is a techpreneur, joining us via Zoom from Abuja. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Victor.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here to contribute to this discussion.
Thank you very much. From your perspective as a techpreneur and an analyst, how would you define techpreneurship within the context of emerging markets?
All right. First, I want us to understand that techpreneur is a word that just was coined in the year 1987. It was first used in 1987. And it is a combination of the word technology and entrepreneurship. So this is because when you add this together, you see the focus is on innovation and leveraging technology to create new business or transform the existing one. So like I said, it's a word that is deeply rooted on entrepreneurship, but an aspect of entrepreneurship which focuses on innovation, leveraging on technology in order to offer solutions. So techpreneur is involved in what the business that really heavily relies on technology, such as software development, artificial intelligence, robotic, and even biotechnology. So if the focus of a techpreneur is innovation, you drive innovation and create new products like services or business model that is based on technology, not the traditional way of doing business.
Okay, believing that being an entrepreneur and driving innovation actually sums up this techpreneurship, what role does tech-driven entrepreneurship play, particularly in accelerating economic growth?
All right, it plays a very transformative role. I must say that when you look at the traditional economic sectors like the oil sector, agriculture, you often see that the growth is often slow and uneven. But in tech, no. Tech moves so fast, it scales, it disrupts, it enables inclusion. So I've seen firsthand how small startup with just 2 individuals grow in their business, and it will grow to the level of employing hundreds within just 24 months. So that's real economic impact. The contribution to GDP, they attract foreign capitals, and more importantly, they build digital infrastructure for the future. So what is exciting is that tech doesn't require physical proximity. Right here in Nigeria, as a startup, you can build for someone in America, you can build for someone in the UK, you can build for someone in Japan, or even anywhere of Asia. That means we can export innovation, not just raw materials. So for economies like ours to grow, we need to invest on this. So it is like a game changer for us, that we no longer need to export raw materials, but to export innovations no matter our location.
All right, Victor, how conducive is the current economic environment in Nigeria for tech startups and innovation?
All right, I must be frank with you. Nigeria has potential, but potential is not enough. See, the environment is promising, but it's punishing. I have to use that word because I have seen the numbers of time. I have seen that most time your effort is being frustrated by economic policy. So yeah, Nigeria have the population, large youthful population, and you see there are mobile phone penetration and growing internet usage. That is good. But the challenge are plenty. We still talk about unreliable power supply, talk about poor broadband, We still talk about unpredictable policies and multiple taxation. These are challenges. So there are moments that you know that a business deal can get crippled just because of emerging government policy. So when the government policies are more stable, you see, it becomes very, very hostile for a techpreneur. And you see, as a techpreneur, most time you transact beyond just the portfolio of Nigeria. You transact globally. And you see, our currency is not stable. So these are some of the factors that is making the environment not to be so conducive for us. So that's why I said there is potential, but the potential is not enough. We have a promising environment, but yet it's punishing for us.
Okay. Are we seeing enough investment in tech startups from both local and international investors? Looking at the fact that we have potentials, talk about the investment from international investors.
All right, yeah, there are movements, but not enough, considering our population and our large economy. So, when there are movements and the movement does not have enough depth, you will discover that international investors are coming, but because of our size, because it's not in depth, it's have a way of not meeting up with our expectation. It has a way of not meeting up with our targets. So they have seen that, yeah, Nigeria or Africa is a unicorn. They have seen the growth metrics, but local investment large scale is still very weak. There's not enough venture capitals and early stage support, and this is a very big challenge. So many local investors are still thinking traditional way. Like, it's very rare for you to see someone that has no technology school that wants to go into techpreneur. So now people focuses on the traditional way of investment, like in land, in oil, in real estate. And they are yet to understand that the potential, they are yet to understand the potential nature of tech. So we need to educate our capital market participants to show them that innovation is an asset class. So, and also government can play a role through giving incentives, tax relief for tech investment, or even co-investment skills and grants. So aside that, we can also focus on that by allowing reducing tax for people going into technology. That is part of the incentive that can be provided in order to improve this. So I believe that if you want knowledge-based economy, you must finance it like others.
Okay, so when we look forward to some of these policies, over time we've seen some policies, some reforms to support the tech industries. But what specific policy framework do you believe is necessary to support the growth of techpreneurship?
Okay, first, there are three things that we must put into consideration, and I've always tied to that the 3 C's in entrepreneurship. First C is clarity. You know, as a startup, you need to understand the rule of the game. For example, if you are going into fintech, you shouldn't just wake up to a new directive from the CBN without stakeholders having input on it before the policy will be released. That kills the planning. Then the second C is consistency. So once a policy is in place, let it mature. You can't keep changing the goalpost. No. Then the third C is consistency. So once a policy is in place, let it mature. You can't keep, if you have the first C is clarity, consistency, and the third C is collaboration. So if government is able to collaborate with individuals, with establishments, this is going to go along with helping the investors. So when you co-create policy that help business grow and protect public interest, okay, because if you want to consider instances of countries that are put in consideration these 3 C's, especially the collaboration, you can talk about Rwanda. Rwanda is doing excellent. The the Startup Act in Nigeria was set up to implement everything, but we must understand that with all this implementation, we must first put in consideration this 3C, which is clarity, consistency, and collaboration. If this is not out of place, every policy that we are putting forward can never be implemented. Even when it is implemented, we're not going to see the impact of the policies.
No, interesting. But let's just now look at what exactly does it take to build a tech business? Looking at someone who wants to, start up a tech business in Nigeria, wants to infuse tech to whatever they have already. What does it take? What support structures exist?
Well, infrastructure is the foundation of a digital economy. So by this infrastructure, I'm not talking about your road network. I'm not talking about your traditional infrastructures. If you don't have stable electricity, you don't have fast internet, a reliable logistic, you are operating with a handicap. So, when you have a business that runs on data, like data-driven services, that requires real-time analysis, and at the end, like in a day, you have an interruption of internet, or your internet drop, or power goes out. Do you know how much you're going to lose? How much hour of productivity and credibility are going to lose? First, you may have a client that have a particular time frame for you to deliver this project, since it's even live. So now, if this is out of place, like if it is out of place, your infrastructures are out of place, like no stable light, no internet. One, you lose credibility and you lose productivity. So infrastructures, adequate infrastructures must be put in place, which are the internet, stable electricity, and reliable logistics. So government must treat internet like a public infrastructure. Make it affordable and accessible. You know how much data costs now? So if there are incentives on telecom to expand rural access support to solar power, so that I don't need to travel to stay in the cities in order to be active participant in the tech landscape. I can be in my local community where I have access to internet, have access to electricity, have access to good and reliable logistics. If that is out of place, why will I move? I will stay where I am in order to achieve this goal. So government must treat internet like a public infrastructure, not just internet. Treat every aspect that involves proper or smooth running of tech businesses like a public infrastructure.
All right. Thank you, Victor Atta. But I'm just going to ask you this last question. Judging by what we've seen so far and your contributions, where do you see the techpreneurship ecosystem in Nigeria heading, say, over the next decade, especially with the rise of fintech, edutech, and then we also have agricultural technology?
All right. I am very optimistic, and that is why most of us, even being trained as a lawyer, I have to put my practice aside, because I believe that we are heading somewhere, and we all have to be part of this game. So I am projecting that in the next couple of years, we are going to experience exponential growth, and Nigeria is going to be the leading force in techpreneurship. We are already expanding. See the rise of technology and the rise of tech firms from Nigeria, and you see our population with large number of youth, and even policy of government, like bad policy in other aspects, can make people to push towards the direction of techpreneurship. We already have the population, we have the talents, but what we need now is the infrastructure. As soon as this infrastructure is put in place, techpreneur is going to take a new leap, in Nigeria, by the grace of God, let's say by 2035, we are going to take the lead globally. India is going to be behind us. I believe so much in that.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor Atta, who is a lawyer and techpreneur, for helping us look at the development in emerging markets. We appreciate your contribution.
Thank you again for your opportunity. It's been a great conversation with you, and I look forward to meet you once next time.
Absolutely. Have a beautiful day ahead.
Thank you.
Well, these are the conversation around development in developing